Time to go to hell, literally. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 12 of Disenchantment. That's right, we're back with more, and this time I'm not going to mistake where we're at for being in season 2. We are with episode 12, we're still in season 1. And I'm excited to see more of this, because last time, Bean just found out that her mother's evil, which it's like, yeah, that seemed pretty obvious, but I mean, I guess you were kind of in that state of just happy to be around her. So, now that Bean knows, though, she has definitely betrayed her and kind of fought a way to get out of the entire ritual they were planning to get their money, the mom and her siblings, to get their money and stuff back. And so, yeah, Bean has now descended into hell to try and rescue Elfo alongside Lucy. So, we're going to see how that goes. This should be very interesting, especially with Bean probably not having a great state of mind right now due to finding out her mother was evil and, caused everyone to be petrified and turned into stone back in the kingdom, as well as just so much else. So, yeah, probably not going to lead to anything really good there. But I'm excited to see where this goes, because I'm just happy to be back. I mentioned last episode was also super, serious compared to, what I remember of the comedy of this series. And again, it makes sense because of the context of what was happening at the moment, especially with it being the first episode back for part 2 of season 1. And so, yeah, it's just a manner of I wasn't prepared for it because it's been so long. Just to reiterate from last episode, it had been since 2018 since we last reacted to this, when the first half of season 1 was first coming out. It was to the point where I thought that the first 10 episodes were just season 1 and that it would go straight into season 2 afterwards. So that's how long ago it was that I reacted to this. That's crazy. But yeah, it had been 8 years since I reacted to it, because just about 8 years. It'll be 8 years this year. That's insane. This might be the longest I've had a break between a show, but again, I did technically drop this at first, I believe. I wasn't going to be coming back to this. I was going to like watch on my own time and never did. But I've changed my mind, and so we're back with it because I just never watched it otherwise and probably won't. Although I have been getting better at that. That's been something I've always had trouble with, watching stuff outside of reactions. Just, finding the time to do it. Like, I've gotten better in the past recent years with, like, the likes of Squid Game and the last season of Stranger Things. But it's been hard with me. And currently, I'm actually watching a series on my own time. Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. And I'm actually having a lot of fun watching that on my own time. So, yeah, there's that as well. But either way, I think we should probably get into this now that we are back and not watching it on our own time and see what happens next. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get into this. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This is more what I was expecting. This episode had more of the tone I was expecting coming back into this. Last episode, again, was so serious, was so kind of intense, and it had some humor to it. But it was overall very, like, straightforward. And that's fine, because, again, the context behind it. The context behind it. But this episode definitely brought us back into what I was kind of looking forward to coming back with this. The ridiculous humor, the mature aspect to it without being like, overly crass and stupid. And that's what I love about like Matt Groening's shows compared to like the likes of American Dad or Family Guy or a lot of those others out there. Is that whether it's The Simpsons, whether it's Futurama, whether it's this, these are shows that actually, I would consider adult animated comedies. These are shows that actually have mature adult humor. And yes, they have some stupid shit in them as well, of course. But they're not crass and insulting to the point of just trying to be, the biggest assholes on the planet. It's like when making Family Guy, it's like they try to be as insulting to everyone as possible. And it's like, yeah, you could make an argument that, but they're insulting everyone, so it's okay. It's like, that doesn't make it okay. That just means they're still insulting everyone. And it's like the show is extremely homophobic, extremely transphobic. And there's like characters like Quagmire who are never actually punished for being a literal rapist. And they make a joke out of rape constantly, by the way. Rape is like one of their biggest jokes. Whether with Quagmire, whether with Herbert the Pervert, or so on and so forth. It's a constant joke. Family Guy, or not Family Guy, American Dad is not much better. It's the same creators and everything. So it's like, it's just pretty much the same shit. Just recycle and repeat. Except American Dad is also trying to, satirize conservatives and just really doesn't do a good job at it. It kind of seems like it's standing up for conservatives most of the time. And it's just like, I just don't like it because it mocks the left just as much as it mocks the right, sometimes even more. And it's just, I just don't like it. And then you have the likes of South Park, which again is just trying to be as offensive as possible towards everyone. And yeah, a lot of it touches on like modern topics, and especially currently, they've touched on a lot of stuff with like Trump and whatnot. But it's just like, again, if you're being just insulting and terrible toward everyone, you're still being insulting and terrible. The likes of Futurama, the likes of Simpsons, the likes of this show can satirize things going on in like real life and in the world today, in the U.S. Society and whatnot, without like just constantly being a piece of shit to everyone. These are shows that like touches on topics like that, but doesn't take it too far and doesn't like try to be annoyingly crass and like unlikable constantly. They're not like they're not as bad overall. And there's still some problems. Like there's some episodes of Futurama that kind of don't age well if you really think about them. There's some episodes that just aren't as like aren't as good in terms of the messages they're trying to say, or you know, the character work or whatnot they're enacting. Um, but that's going to be the case with any show. It's like there's some things that just don't work when you look back on them. And at the time, it's just you tried to do the best you could and you made some mistakes. It's not the same as like with a lot of these adult animated shows. Again, just being as insulting and terrible and bigoted as possible and thinking that's what adult humor is. So I think like Matt Groening really has the formula down for how to make an adult animated series. And I think that this series is really good at that. The characters are charming and likable while also sometimes being kind of assholes. The humor isn't overly crass or like bigoted. And it's creative, unique, refreshing. It's a really good series. Not to mention, of course, great VAs, but that just, you know, that just comes with it. Like even Family Guy's voice actors aren't that bad. That's not even that big of a deal. That's not one of the issues I have with Family Guy. But yeah, I'm very very impressed with how they portrayed both heaven and hell in this episode. Hell was very stereotypical and like, but it would also kind of turn into an MC Escher painting for some fucking reason. And then heaven was again very stereotypical, you know, everyone floating on clouds and getting to like have whatever they want and all. But then you have God, who's a very unstereotypical design. You don't even get to see Satan. You just see another higher up demon. And it's just like, I kind of dig that. I kind of dig that they did some more unique things and didn't like play all of their cards, because then maybe things can be done even better in the future. Also, I like that line at the end where God's like, "Well, I invented they and them before he or she," and it's like that's fun. That's a fun little line. As someone who is, you know, non-binary and uses she they pronouns, it's like I like hearing they them pronouns just mentioned in this. Lucy betraying them only to save them after because he needed to get his upgrades and all was so obvious. And I don't mind when something is that obvious as long as it's still executed well, and I think it was here. It allowed Bean and Elfo to reconnect and get the chance to talk a little bit about it. And Elfo's still just as, you know, trusting as ever, just as nice as ever. So I like seeing everything kind of like coming to a head with Bean realizing just how much she actually did, like how much pain and misery she did cause with this, not just to herself, but to Elfo as well once he found out. It's really good to have that kind of introspection. And again, all of these shows have actually done that fairly well. Especially Futurama. Futurama is actually really great with that. So yeah, this was another episode that like really hit it out of the park for me. While it wasn't as like intensely story heavy as last episode, it did bring back a lot more of the comedy. Though the stuff with Zog and him like saying "bite my shiny metal axe," it's like, oh come on. I get it. It's the same voice actor. It's John DiMaggio, but come on, that was a little silly. It was well handled and well executed, but it was a little silly. Also, Merkimer still being around, it's like, okay, that was kind of random. He's okay, I guess. Escaped the petrification, so that's fun. Um, and just I feel like even last time I didn't talk too much about Zog's part of the story because there wasn't just a lot to talk about. And the same with this. It's just kind of him kind of coping and dealing with the aftermath of everything. Otherwise, there's not really much to it. So it's like I feel like there's not a lot to talk about there. I did love Bean's little demon onesie though. Well, it wasn't even really a onesie, but her little demon costume. It was honestly kind of adorable. Um, and it's like I'm already attracted to Bean. I already find her like really cute and hot, honestly. So it's like that honestly kind of added to that because silly little costumes like that are absolutely like really cute to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I like how Bean also got them past the gates to hell and everything. Like the way she manipulated the one guard and said like, "Oh, I'm your worst nightmare," and I'm gonna like now that we were acquainted, I'm gonna get close to you or whatever it is exactly she said. It's like that was really funny. Um, yeah, this was just a really fun episode. Now that they're back and now that Elfo's got his body back though, they got to figure out still a way to unpetrify everyone. Um, and on top of that, they're probably gonna be hunted down by Bean's mom. So that's great. Uh, it would be interesting though to see things kind of like turn back and kind of like reverse to how it used to be. I don't think it's gonna be that quite that simple. I think the next goal is gonna be trying to figure out how to unpetrify everyone, and that might lead into like them going on a quest up to the end of the season, in which they'll like actually unpetrify everyone, probably in the final episode, maybe within the final two. I don't know if Bean's mom will continue to be a threat during the course of the season, or if she'll not come back until later on in the series. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below what did you think of this episode of Disenchantment, and thank you all so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.